What happens when the looks start to fade in women who've only put their value in their physical appearance? What happens?
Well, what happens is they end up with men who are equally shallow. Here's the thing, if I'm just a pretty face, I'm going to end up with a man who only likes pretty faces. Now, the reality is that man is so easily distracted with the next pretty face and the next 25-year-old and the next. So what will happen is you're in a constant competition with people you can't compete with for the rest of your life. And similarly, if I was somebody who just sold sex and I'm going to find a man who's addicted to sex. And men that are addicted to sex will always want novelty. You'll never be enough. So reality is when you create your identity on something so fragile, you attract somebody who's also very fragile, and then you end up in a lonely cycle, unfortunately. Yeah. Whereas when you develop something deep, you attract someone deeper and your connection tends to be more long-lasting, God willing. It tends to be more long-lasting.
Right. I think I heard you share recently online something about like financial connection and emotional connection.
Yeah.
Can you explain more about that?
Yeah, I think what's happening, unfortunately, men are being indoctrinated into thinking that as long as you provide financially, you can get the hottest girl in the world. And as a result, you're a high value man and you've made it. But essentially, when you lead with finances, you attract a woman who's emotionally detached, because emotionally present women, finances does not compensate for lack of quality time. No matter how rich a man is, she wants quality time. Whereas emotionally detached women, they don't care if you're gone for 6 months on a business trip, as long as they've got a bag and a house and a Rolls Royce and whatever it is. So when you're that man, you're going to attract that woman. So you think, I'm providing her with everything, she's not going to go anywhere. She's thinking, you provided me with everything, now I can go somewhere.
Wow.
So you've lured yourself into a false sense of security. A lot of really successful men will look at a woman and think, I've given her everything, she's not going to go anywhere. Because she's got external kind of extrinsic value, she's thinking, I've now got everything from this guy, where do I go next? So
what more can I get?
What more can I get?
From somewhere else.
From somewhere else.
Holy
and
cow.
So unfortunately...
Why is there not loyalty when a financially stable man is able to provide finances to their partner? Why is that loyalty not there?
Because the glue of the relationship is broken.
Superficial.
Yeah, it's superficial. The glue they used was superficial. The glue he's relying on is physical attraction, and the glue she's relying is financial stability. The glue is weak. Whereas if the glue was emotional intimacy, absolutely you can get loyalty. You can't beat emotional intimacy when it comes to loyalty. Once you have emotional intimacy, it's very difficult for somebody to be your competition, because they know you in a way that nobody else can, and you can be vulnerable in a way nobody else can. But when you deprive your relationship of emotional intimacy, every single person is your competition. And this is something these people with junk values don't realize.
Wow.
Unfortunately. But did you find that hard? Being so financially successful, did you find it would attract the wrong kind of women?
Yeah, I've always been in relationships.
Yeah.
And so, I wasn't like single for 3 years and was like just attracting everyone. I was I loved intimacy. So I was more like diving into a commitment as quickly as if I found someone, I felt like, okay, maybe there's something here. But it just seems like with the content I see online and what I'm hearing from stories from people in the dating world and who've gone through divorce and breakups, like it is a struggle out there. It's what I'm hearing. And I don't know if that's just certain cities in America or if that's globally or if it's different in other countries.
Is it like that in LA? It's very much like that in cities.
I think it's extreme in LA, obviously.
Extreme, yeah. And unfortunately, because I come from Dubai and I live in London and stuff like that, I focus on the extremities. I know in simple villages this doesn't happen. Right. But unfortunately, I'm not privy to that. They tend to be healthy and they don't even watch my content. They're happy and they got their kids and they walk their dogs. The people that watch it are the ones that are struggling, and they're usually similar kind of issues. There's only 3 or 4 issues that all my clients will have.
What is that?
Infidelity, men in very much infidelity on part of the woman.
Women cheat more than men?
Far more.
Come on.
Far more.
Come on.
Far from.
Why do you think women cheat more than men?
Because they're in denial about the infidelity. When they cheat, they don't even label it as that. If a woman starts cheating,
what do they label it as?
They label it as my husband's no longer satisfying me. They won't even say I'm cheating. They'll say my husband isn't satisfied. They find a way to redirect and shift the terminology so that they are void of guilt.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
So how do we know women are cheating more than men? What is it like? Is this public knowledge? Is there surveys? Or are you just hearing this from the people you're coaching?
The people I'm coaching, because firstly, you'll know, it's simple signs that you'll know. Firstly, when the guy, I always say infidelity is a result of men not being masculine and women not being feminine. And what I mean by this is if a woman is cheating, it's because she has a man that accepts unacceptable because he is unwilling to walk away when his boundaries are broken. So what will happen is when women meet that man with a good woman with good morals, and she doesn't want that man. She's like, I don't want to weaken.
She'll leave.
She'll leave. She'll replace him with somebody who has boundaries that suit her morals. But a woman,
but she won't cheat because she'll have the values of like, this isn't working. It's sad.
No, I don't want
but
somebody.
I'm not going to cheat
week.
while I'm with you.
No desire to cheat. Yeah. She's not a sexual being. Yeah, and that's so she's looking for somebody who can lead a household. But the woman who's planning to come home late all the time and planning to go on a bunch of holidays and planning to keep in touch with her ex and planning to post a bunch of provocative pictures online, he's perfect. He's perfect because he'll maybe pay for everything. He'll maybe sort the house out, maybe give her the kids. He's perfect. So that agreeable.
And she can keep getting the validation from all these other men in
whoever
certain ways.
She wants. And he'll say, oh, babe, I don't really like that bikini picture. And she'll say, stop oppressing me. And that will be the end of the conversation. And she'll carry on doing what she wants. And he'll say, oh, you're going to come home today? I'll come home when I want. And that's what he'll say, okay. And because she recognizes he doesn't have the willingness to walk away, when the man isn't masculine, his days are numbered. His days of good women filter themselves off away from men that are too agreeable. Now, when women get cheated on, again, it's a lack of femininity. And what I mean by that is, honestly, what I've noticed with married men that cheat, it's not that they love somebody else so much or they found someone more beautiful. They simply have a wife that is no longer catering to their needs in any way, shape, or form. So,
what type of needs? Their sexual needs, their intimacy needs, their supportive needs?
All kinds of needs. So what I mean by that, it could be as simple as there's a coffee ready because you're going to work. Or it could be as deep as, I haven't slept with you in 6 months. It's his needs no longer matter. And it's really difficult. I understand when you have kids and stuff like that, it becomes difficult.
Is it when he feels his needs don't matter or he's communicating what he wants and she's not willing to provide that?
He's saying it.
He's saying it and she's just like, I don't have time for this, or she's busy or whatever.
He's often saying it, but she's also not predicting his needs. And that's part of femininity. Part of femininity is, I know he's coming home, let me just warm up a bit of food. Or I know that he's got work at an early start, let me just iron that shirt quickly because he's going to make a mess if he does it. You know, it's part of femininity.
What would the feminist movement say to that? I'm just curious.
They would argue that he's not a baby. That's what they would say. Men are not babies. But here's the reality. They are. In a lot of ways, they are. In a lot of ways, they really are.
I can be a baby sometimes, but
you know what it is? It's something about, I don't understand this myself, but there's something about, they could be hungry or whatever it is, but when their wife makes them a meal, it tastes totally different to whatever you could order or whatever they could order themselves. Or when their wife...
There's a love to it. There's a support behind it.
Being seen. Yeah. It's being seen in a way that nobody else sees them. There's something about, like, of course you can make your own coffee in the morning, but there's something about your wife just putting it there without you asking for it that just makes you feel seen. Now, what I notice is when women forget to do that, they set the tone for a man to now go towards escorts. And I'll tell you why. Because they're almost creating a transactional relationship. They're making him feel like an ATM anyway.
He's like, I'm not getting my needs met.
I'm paying for everything.
And I'm being disrespected maybe. Or whatever.
I'm an ATM.
Interesting.
I'm already an ATM.
Whether that's okay or not to think that way, that's just the interpretation.
That's the way he sees it. So if I'm coming home and she doesn't even notice I'm there, she's never cooked a meal, she's never asked me how my day is, but I'm paying for everything and I'm giving her a great life, I'm already an ATM. I might as well be an ATM to somebody who's going to touch me and kiss me
serve
and
my
look at me.
sexual needs or something.
Exactly. Who's going to look at me.
At least pretend.
At least, even if
act for an hour.
Exactly.
Right?
And the worst thing is, escorts and sugar babies and stuff, they know this man's been deprived of attention. So they know exactly what to say to these men to have them putty in their hands. If I wanted to, I would know exactly what to say to him. If I was an escort, I would know exactly what to say to him.
Just how to touch him, how to connect with him, how to be there for him.
Do you need a coffee? Do you take 2 sugars or 1?
Oh, wow.
Some men haven't heard that in years from their wives.
Wow.
They haven't heard that in years. Do you want me to rub your shoulders? They haven't heard that in years from their wives. And these are men that work hard and do that, this, that. I'm not saying they're justified, but they build a resentment. So when women get cheated on, it's their lack of femininity. And when men get cheated on, it's their lack of masculinity. And people hate me for this because what they want to say is I was cheated on because my ex was a narcissist. But the infidelity is a dynamic. I'm not saying there are compulsive cheaters, but even in that process, you select that compulsive cheater. They show you the signs anyway, yeah? Like if I'm a woman without boundaries, I'll know because he comes home late, he's sloppy, I'll know something. But the reality is, and people always come for me and you're victim blaming, but no, this is not what we're doing here. The reality is people shouldn't cheat, but also thieves shouldn't steal. But I have to lock my doors. I have to protect myself. Similarly, people shouldn't cheat, but I have to lock my doors. I have to at least ensure I'm creating a dynamic that creates enough intimacy where they don't need to. If they then go on to, at least I know I did everything. But if I don't cover the basics, of course it's going to lead to it. We are trying to heal those wounds without expecting that person to break their back to help us heal. So what I mean by that is, if I know I have an issue with jealousy, I'm trying to work on it, but at the same time, the person doesn't have to break their back to make sure I feel soothed, okay. I pick consciously